Hello and welcome to the Moose Hunt Podcast. I'm your host, Rob Fickett, and today I'm sitting down with teammate, mentor, and good friend, Mr. Nathan Theriault. How are you doing today, Nathan?
I'm doing awesome, Mr. Fickett. Good to be on here with you. Just been a little while since I've been on, and I'm honored to be here with you, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a while since a lot of us have been on. It's been crazy busy with me with life and work and stuff like that. And I had to set a little bit different priorities straight. But the lottery is in 2 days, and that's the kickoff for moose season. And well, shed hunting was, but it's kickoff for a lot of people for moose season. So it's time to get back in the moose mood and the moose zone and start making that a priority. So yeah, dude. Let's we haven't had you on in a while. I don't think since the hunt that we did in Texas with KUIU and Montana Great Outdoors. So we'll touch on that because the one that we did there was kind of in the middle of the hunt, so we can kind of finish off how the whole thing ended and everything, and just roll in. See, I'm excited to hear about how the moose herd is doing after the winter and over the spring, how the shed hunt went, how Huck the shed dog is doing now, because he was pretty on fire last year. So it'd be great to hear how he did this year and and how things are going to look for us, and go from there, man. So yeah, how was Texas?
Well, it was awesome. So last year was our second annual event, and it was awesome to have you there.
Yeah, it was a blast.
Most of the listeners know, you're a veteran. Purple Heart, man, we just are so thankful for guys like you and the folks that attend these hunts that we are blessed to be able to do with our great clients that have, places that, can entertain people and just let people just get away from, their everyday life and be around like-minded people. It was an awesome time. I had a ball, and I think everyone else did too.
Yeah, it was great. And those ladies, they were, I don't know if I want to put it this way, but they were straight killers. Like they were awesome for people that haven't really hunted at all. They just, they didn't hesitate. They were great.
Yeah, I don't know if that's from training or what, but I'm
Yeah, it
I'm
very
going
well
with the
could be.
training. Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, some of them, they really haven't done a lot of hunting, and to see them just kinda get into it there, and of course, KUIU really comes through and the gun donations, they're awesome. I think last year was Weatherby and Loopold, I believe, and, they just hooked them up with, you know, gear
Mhm.
and then, KUIU, supplied all their outfits. I mean, it was, just a really cool thing. Of course, Montana Grit, Bree is just, she's really just doing, some awesome stuff and women in hunting in general is just great to see because really they are our future. Um, I know my wife, she's she's the one that gets the kids outdoors and gets them hunting, and of course it's my busiest time, so it can be challenging, but yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, they were shy. I got to touch on the gun thing a little bit. Because this year the caliber who it was a Weatherby this year, correct? I
Yeah,
think
I'm
you
pretty
said that.
sure.
Yeah, yeah. But it was also a 6.5 Creedmoor, and so I think we both own 6.5 Creedmoors, and I haven't used mine in a while. But dude, those things, especially at least the lady that I took out, she dropped everything in its tracks with that thing. I couldn't believe it. It was yeah. I think I'm resold on it a little bit, at least for hogs and deer. It was pretty good.
Yeah, they could shoot and the 6.5 did their job and, great guns, super accurate. Weatherby makes a great firearm
Yeah,
and,
definitely.
yeah,
It definitely made me look into them a little bit more because it was super light and it was
it was
great
a whole
stuff.
truck. I think it was a whole truckload full of, big whitetails and axis deer and geez, you killed a giant hog, right?
Yeah, that thing was I think it was 291. I think is what Cody and I waited in at. Yeah, it stunk so bad too. He was hot and ready for something.
Yeah, Cody was there too, that was really cool. He killed a nice buck, but man, you killed
Yeah, you got a
us.
nice buck. Yeah.
What did your buck you got was what was that, like 2 something, or what was it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Two 200 inches or something, it was big.
Yeah, it was well, how we measured it was 196. It had a couple broken, tines and stuff, but they definitely grow some junk down there for sure. I'm excited to get him back. I got because I shot another one with Lanham, in the blind, and that one was I got him on the wall right now because they sent him a Euro, so the Euro was already done. So that's pretty excited, and now I'm pretty pumped to get the regular shoulder mount back whenever.
Can't
Yeah.
can't wait to see it.
The meat's great. I actually think it tastes a little bit different than a Maine deer, and they were I know, Russell and Dale, the ranch hands down there, they were saying it might be because of the mesquite trees, because all it is like mesquite trees down there, so, yeah, they're eating some of the other stuff, but they're also eating the mesquite trees, so they said it kinda adds a little bit extra flavor to it.
Well, you are what you eat, they say.
Yeah, it is very true.
If you go down to southern Maine, the deer taste like apples.
Yeah. Oh, it's good. So, alright, so after Texas, geez, that was the middle of winter. Did you do any snowmobiling this winter?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I got some actually, it was pretty good riding. I mean, we didn't have a lot of snow up here, but for
And it
what
stayed
we did
cold.
have, it was cold. Yeah, we had, good freeze up, good trails. And it was good. It was fun. We, had a great time and already looking forward to next snowmobile season. It's kind of my favorite
I
thing to
know,
do, other than run
I
equipment
know.
and chase moose.
I was just thinking this the other day because it was so hot and humid here. Then, I'm doing a deck and I'm out there and boiling in the sun, and I'm just like, you know what? If I could just have fall and winter, I'd be the happiest person in the world. I think I could do without summer, to be brutally honest.
I could skip that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So how'd the moose fare after this winter? Because we didn't really have a deep snow depth, so they were able to go everywhere. How'd it look this spring in the woods?
Yeah, it was good. We put a lot of flight time in, December, early January, just doing our surveys and getting a handle for, what it's looking like in our areas, and very promising, like what we see. Great age group, still some tremendous bulls on the landscape. And yeah, like you said, I mean, the snow depth was very minimal early on, which is good because when they come out of that rut, and they really, I mean, they're still breeding, could be up until December when some of those
Really?
late calves that drop late in the season start to come in, or even adult cows that just didn't get bred. So those bulls, they get really tired, and for them to be able to travel like they do and have for the last few years, it's really helped to maintain, the quality, and the age class is important, so that was, really good to see. But yeah, looking really good out there. Doesn't help us to find antlers when there's not much snow. Trying to keep track of these things are definitely more challenging, but we still were able to get it done for shed season, and super excited for this year.
Yeah, that's awesome. How'd Huck do?
Okay, so Huck is a stud. I mean, I guess I'll say this, you'll get out of him what you put into him, and this dog is, he's part of the team, and he's here to work, and his job is to find sheds, and actually blood trail. We had him blood trailing this past year, which he's phenomenal on that. Not really trained. He just knows what to do for some reason.
Oh,
But blood,
he did that this past season?
yeah. So we
Oh, really?
we were able to get him out trailing some wounded bear, and
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So he really just. I mean, it was funny because the track we put him on, Bryce was with me, and I picked up a leaf, showed it to him, told him to, to find it, and next thing I know, here we go, and Bryce is like, "Are you on blood?" And I'm like, "I don't know, I'm going too fast." I'm like, "Just follow behind me and tell me." And then Bryce is like, "You're on blood," and we trailed that bear for 2.5 miles, and
Wow.
yeah, and like I don't even know, like less than 3 hours, I think. And needless to say, the bear wasn't dead. And I think the dog knew that, and I probably did too, and I was getting a little nervous towards the end, to be honest.
Yeah.
Unfortunate, but he's definitely gonna live.
Nice.
Yeah, so the sheds, so he's, his first bir or second birthday just happened. The end of the first year, he found 20 antlers unassisted. This year, he found between 50 and 60
Wow,
unassisted.
it's crazy.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, he found 2 sets of browns this year and, like, 3 or 4 of last year's sets of browns, and then, of course, you know me, I'm kinda snobbish with antlers, so I don't haul everything out. I think I have some people that would like me to, but I'm kinda in it for certain things, and,
Yeah.
you know, but yeah, he really did a good job. We found a lot of antlers this year, and, you know, despite the challenges, I mean, it was crazy to me because, you know, we're, you know, seeing, you know, multiple groups of bulls in certain spots and going in and, you know, they should have been dropped in that area and they just weren't there. And, you know, so we were, you know, branching out and venturing out and, you know, we found them, but man, it was tough. It was a tough year. Um, and last year, kind of similar, you know,
Mhm.
just because they're able to move, and that's good for the moose. So, but yeah, the dog is phenomenal, and you definitely get out of them what you put into them. Lots of training, lots of time. I found this year, you know, I had, you know, days where I would spend, you know, 8 hours out there.
Excuse me, sorry.
God bless you. And, I just found that that was maybe a little too much. He was getting kinda tired.
Mm,
So, I toned it down a little bit with him and would just go, like, 4 or 5 hours, and I honestly liked it because I wasn't getting as beat up,
yeah.
and he was fresher the next day, and that seemed to be the ticket with that, you know? But, yeah, really cool and, you know, super, um, happy to have him, especially as I get older, 43 now, so I cut my walking down from, like, 10 miles to, like, 8.
Yeah. Every mile counts, man.
Every mile counts,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so
But
I know one of the sets that you guys found this year, didn't even really know it was a set at first. You kinda were debating whether it was from the same moose or not. Ended up being a slammer that you had trail camera pictures of. How far apart were those?
yeah, so that was, you know, that was super, super cool, you know, as a lot of people know, Bryce and I, we found a lot of sheds together and you know he kind of knew what kind of year we were having and started just jumping into some random places, you know, in
Really?
proximity some,
That's cool.
yeah, some of the, you know, some of the areas that we hunt and some of the bulls that we're following, and comes across this antler and starts sharing it to the group, and I was actually heading home, and I didn't even get in the door. 5 minutes later, I got the dog, and I'm on my way down to him, and I actually I actually ended up coming across the other side, and they were only 100 yards apart, and some of the
Okay, that's
things.
closer than I thought they were gonna be.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting, you know, with these sheds, they really can change a lot, even in 1 year, you know, they can a lot of times, the majority of the time, uh, the bulls will tend to have a weak side, and, you know, the changes can be little or they can be a lot. And this specific bull just, you know, and we see this a lot with bulls that have, you know, big pans, but one of his pans actually came in and up in the center. And what made us question whether or not it was the bull was the fact that the color was so different. It was very white and the pan side was so dark, but in the area where we found him, there was really only droppings that would have been to a bull like that, um, from one bull. So there wasn't enough droppings to make it so that there was 2 giant bulls in that area, I guess is what I'm saying. So we just went back and forth, and then, you know, one of the, team members just happened to have a bunch of history with trail cam pictures on the of this bull, and it's a bull that, you know, we believe we've had pictures of for the last 2 years, maybe
Wow.
3 years, yeah, and we're able to put together his travel pattern and, you know, where he spends his time and when, and he's a lot like Top Gun was. go seems to go to one place to winter and then another place to breed. So they always change their patterns. Once you think you got them figured out, they they do something different. There's so many variations. You got cutting, changes, habitat changes. Cows obviously are the biggest draw for these bulls, and also the challengers. There's other bulls that live where he does. All of a sudden this year, he could not be top dog in the block, and now he gets, beat up, kicked out, and it's back to the drawing board. So we'll see what happens. We're super pumped to have found him. I know that Meg posted him on the Facebook page, and yeah, we're super excited about that. And then we got a bunch of bulls that, we're going to be after that. We couldn't come across them. We thought we were gonna find him. We hunted hard, found one side, not the full set. So uh, that's just how it goes. But great season. Dog work was phenomenal. Of course, I just want to give a little shout out to Ryan Miller. Ryan started Huck for about 4 months, brought him into his home with his kids, and trained him because he was ready for September. There was no way I was taking a dog in September, so he actually
Yeah.
he actually drove him up in December, and so Ryan came up and shed hunted with his dog, and also Clay. So those guys have been on the Facebook page with. I think Ryan found some of the reflection bulls. He's actually got a set for the reflection bull.
Really? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so one of his first sheds was that, and then so he got to come up and see Huck, and hanging with those guys was awesome. We missed you this year.
Yep.
Um,
I know I really wanted to come up. I just kept putting it off too long, unfortunately.
hey, it's one of those things, you try to do it, and but it was really cool. I'll be honest with you. Um, outside of the actual shed hunting and the finding antlers, for us up here, as just being in the woods this time of year is
Uh-huh.
super important for us. And we were able to put a lot of pieces together and ways to get through certain areas to get to other areas. And, it's just gonna help the success for the future for the team and the clients and everybody. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, for me, that's one of the most I mean, yeah, it's great finding antlers. I'm never as lucky as a lot of people to find some. I'm more just meandering through the woods, but it's a great time to see the areas that you hunt and stuff without the foliage up, and without the green growth and stuff, because you can kind of still see sign from last year and everything. So, like you said, you can kind of figure out the lay of the land a little bit better than when you're in the heat of the moment in a September hunt with the leaves still everywhere.
Yeah, it's like the jungle. And to make you feel a little better, I maybe found a dozen antlers. Huck really showed me up, man. I'll be honest.
Nice. I'm hoping that last year I was lucky enough to find a couple while scouting in August and early September. So I guess I won't be too mad if I find a couple while scouting this year, but we'll see.
Yeah, it seems like you do pretty good around that time, so it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, heck yeah, man. Yeah, so the lottery's in a couple days. How's that you getting ready to start living in your office for a couple days?
Yeah, yeah, more like 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Look, it's good. I love it. We got an awesome team, and my goal is just to make sure everyone's got a client to go moose hunting with, so we can all do what we love to do. And it's 23 years this year for us. The amount of people that we have applying into the draw and calling us, and it's just it's overwhelming. I remember when I first started, and it was a challenge, and it's pretty neat to be here now, and to be surrounded by a great team. Just think the world of you guys, and just love to get out and do what we do together and have a ball doing it, and have all the resources and God guiding our path. And
Uh-huh.
yeah, we're pumped up, man. I can't wait to talk hunting with clients. That's probably the
Yes.
coolest thing. I'll spend all day on the phone, hearing stories, and I've probably heard of almost every story, and I tell you, I love hearing the different variations of it, and the success of people and the excitement, in their voice. As you know, this is definitely a once in a lifetime
Mhm.
opportunity. I think it's like a 1 in 70 chance for a non-resident to draw, and even Maine residents, I mean, I know Maine residents that have been putting in for 20, sometimes even 30 years, so, it's cool, it's fun. Maine has a great resource. We have, 1 of 4 of the species of moose. We have the Eastern Canadian, and Maine has a reputation for the trophy quality and a great hunt, so it's something that we've tried hard to help to have a hand in over these many years that we've been doing this, and it really seems that across the industry, it's turned into a name that people have come to respect and want to go to when they think of Eastern Canadian moose. They want to come to Maine. It also is has great accessibility for people. People that A lot of people that apply, and actually where the biggest population of hunting hunters are is on the East Coast, and the majority of them can drive here.
Mhm.
And that ability for them to get here and also to bring their meat home is something that people really love. And the other thing is the hunting is as hard as you want to make it. We really, and this, we have a diverse clientele, and one of the questions everyone asks is the physical ability of the hunt.
Mhm.
And, we're blessed because, for one, we've been up here for so long and, I live here and a lot of us do and frequent here. And, we know where to bring people where they're going to have the best success and be able to not have the physical constraint that they're concerned about, no matter if it took them 1 year to draw and they're our age or if they're 30 years in and 70, 80 years old. I think Mary Cabello, when she hunted with us, was 83 at the time.
I didn't know
And
she was that old, that's crazy.
yeah, yeah, and Guy Ranlet, our mentor, Guy is near and dear to our heart. Just main trophy moose. He was I think at the time like 71 or 72,
Mm.
and she killed a tremendous bull, 56-inch bull, and so yeah, it's an awesome resource we have. The department has done a great job managing it. uh, for years they did a controlled moose hunt in a portion of zone 4 to see what the impact would be on ticks by thinning out the herd. We've obviously had an overpopulation for many years, and people came to believe that that was normal. And really, what we didn't realize was that it was a detriment to the moose. And nature has a way of stepping in and curbing
Mhm.
such unfortunate happenings. But it's, I believe, getting to a point that's more conducive to the habitat we have. And I believe that in years to come, we're going to see an improved moose herd. And I hope they continue to do controlled, um, uh, adaptive hunts in other zones that there's overpopulation. So,
Yeah, I
um,
was I was curious sorry to interrupt you. I was curious if they were gonna start that this year because I know last year that the controlled hunt in Zone 4 ended. So, I know Kenny and I were talking, we were curious if they were gonna move to a different zone, say they would start it in Zone 3 now, try that for a few years, see how that works, stuff like that, but
yeah, I hope they do. I think they need a year to just put numbers together and see. I hope that public perception doesn't influence their decision, because their decision, in my opinion, should be based on the wildlife.
Mhm,
And, also the impact, that hunt had for businesses in that area was also very good. Helped people to have lodging at times when they normally
mhm.
were slow. It was good for the economy. I believe, it was good for it, and it is good, for moose as a whole for the future.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, good stuff, man. I know I'm excited. I can't wait. I know I'm not going to make it to the lottery this year. It happens to be Father's Day weekend, and want to spend some time fishing and hanging out with the family that haven't done really lately. So gonna miss all that, but stoked. Can't wait to read the names at 6 o'clock when they release it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, it's down in Acton this year. And that's an awesome place, that's right on the New Hampshire border. Definitely got a lot of friends that are gonna be going down there. It's a long ways for us
Yep.
to go. Father's Day weekend and all that. So we wish everybody the best down there. And we're definitely excited to see the names and hear the stories, and wish we could be down there as well. It's just I have a hard time getting out of the office that time of year, and we it's busy. Everyone's busy.
Mhm.
It's part of the deal. So
Yeah, I think, the last time me and you talked on the phone, I think we were saying it's just like, you keep thinking like, "Oh, yeah, like, things will slow down here in a bit, I'll get through this, it'll slow down." No, I think just you get busier. The more you go on, the busier it gets. You just gotta kind of adapt with it and, kinda just to figure it out.
I got my pilot's license. Geez, going on 15 years ago, 16 years ago. I was 43 now, so I was probably early 30s, I guess. Would that make it? Yeah, early 30s. And and a guy told me one time, he was like, accomplish everything that you can right now, because life only gets busier. And I was kind of like on the back burner of, getting my captain's license and some other stuff I wanted to, and I said, you know what, I took that to heart. I just did it. I got the captain's license, did stuff that I kind of wanted to do, and he was right. And like you said, it is super busy. Kids and, oh man, life just catches up with you, and yeah. So
Is what it is, but we're all setting aside time for Moose, so that's what really matters right now.
yeah, Moose is a priority. We love it. And yeah, so super excited about that. Excited for the fall. Like you said, be pumped to get over summer.
Yeah, I concur. I agree. I'm excited for guy training coming up in August for all of us get together again. Hopefully we all get to get together before that anyways, but that's going to be a good time. Get the team all together and go over everything for the upcoming season. So, yeah. Awesome. Good stuff, man. Hey, it was great to catch up with you. It was great to get back on this, break the ice again, I guess you could say, and get everybody excited for this upcoming season, man.
Did you yeah, great catching up, Rob. And did you want to touch base on, just some of the aspects of, I remember you'd said something early on about, when you're booking a hunt, um, some of the things that you want to keep in mind, as far as, being able to take advantage of that once in a lifetime experience.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, we can. I mean, you have more experience of touching on that than I do, since you're a guy that does the booking and been in this for over 20 years. So, yeah, if you want to touch on that, basically, because the lottery's on Saturday, which I'm going to release this that morning so people going to the lottery can listen to and stuff. Say your name gets drawn, and some people are going to do a DIY, which is totally cool. Maine's a great state to do DIY. Even then, you still want to have a plan. Don't get in over your head. Um, but yeah, touch on what it say, even as an example, hunting with us, like what that might look like, like lodging, stuff like that. And then like the types of hunt. I know we already talked about say the guy getting to know the client and tailoring the hunt towards their physical abilities and stuff. But also people looking into guides and outfitters and stuff like that, like they should really spend time doing the research and stuff like that, and reviews or talking to other past clients of the people and stuff like that. But yeah, I'll let you take it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And like we talked about, what the straw is and what it means to people, and now you've, all these years you've been applying for this, and now you pull the tag. Um, you know, awesome. You want to start getting ready right away. And like you
Mhm.
said, DIY, that's awesome. Part of the reason for the podcast here, we want people, whether it's, you doing it on your own, or, if there's guides listening, we want people that come to this state to have a great time, whether they're hunting with us, hunting with another guiding operation, or just simply doing a DIY. We want there to be enough information out there for them to feel like they're confident in their decision no matter what they do. Now, once you pull that tag, you really want to be thinking about what the next steps are. And some of the most important aspects that you want to be considering are, obviously, you have scouting. Okay, scouting is a big piece of the puzzle. Used to be you could go out and get lucky. Those days are getting harder and harder. Not to say you can't; it's still possible. But the more time you're able to scout, the better. One thing that we're very blessed with is we live up here. We're able to scout all year long, and we're not restricted to how long it takes to get here. We're not restricted to our job, and only being able to come up on the weekends. We go when it's the best time to go, and we're thankful to be able to do that. We also have the resources, such as the airplane, being able to do aerial surveys, understand where these things are going, how they're going there, and when they're traveling, and we're able to utilize it when it's the right time to utilize it. The trail cameras, we're doing some stuff with Reveal, but Tacticam now, we're excited about that. They have a great product. For scouting purposes, trail cameras are going to be important to you. Boots on the ground
Uh-huh.
is super important, and there is a limit to all that. You don't want to put too much pressure on an area, so to speak. But scouting is probably one of the things you want to be thinking of right out of the gate. The other thing that gets overlooked very commonly is processing. And, we've been running a butcher shop now, a state inspected facility. We got a great team in there. We vacuum seal, we do all kinds of specialty items. We really put a lot of pride into what we do. We have a 53-foot reefer freezer and a 26-foot refrigerator trailer, both trailers. And then we have a air conditioned, clean facility. Mooseprocessing.com is our website if anybody wants to take a look at that. If you're in zones 3, 6, 5, 2, 1, if you're coming through Eagle Lake, this is where we are. The number one thing with the processing is making sure you have a spot. Do
Hmm.
your research, know who you're going to go with. If even references, past clients for processing, how did they like it? You're going to get what you pay for with anything. And one of the things that we've seen, and I think 10 or 12 years we've been doing this, is and it's unfortunate, and it's it's not to blame anybody. It's part of the reason the podcast is here. It's education. But what we found in those years, and the team, as a team, we have a policy. It's a Cape and Quarter policy for the
Mm.
company, for the hunting business. And the clientele will come back and they'll be like, the meat was fantastic. And we're like, that bull was old as heck, how can it be so good? Well, we figured it out. When you get the hide off it right away and that meat cools down, the meat is so much better. You're going to have the best tasting meat. The money that you're still going to spend the money processing, or you're going to do it yourself and you're still going to spend the time.
Mhm.
And having that product be the best it can be is everything, and getting that hide off right away is the name of the game. I can't stress it enough. I mean, we've had people, it's taken them 24 hours to get the moose out. And I'm going to say another thing. Try to find processors in the area you hunt, because if you're going to throw that moose on a trailer and stuff the cavity with ice, you're only keeping the ribs. You're only cooling down the ribs. Um, I don't recommend putting it on a trailer on its side and driving down the road 2-3 hours, especially, I see people putting tarps over these things. That just holds the heat in more.
Yeah,
Get even
blocking the air from getting through it because at least have some airflow.
at least have some airflow. And look, if you have a processor that's hours away, or it's going to be a while before you get to there, you want to hang it because you got camp and you got all these things going on. At least get the hide off of it, keep that meat clean. Just do just do everything that you can to cool that animal down, and you're going to find that that meat, even with a big old bull, is going to be good. So line out that processor, make sure you got that. We're very blessed, in the team, and wasn't always this way, but we're able to cape and quarter that thing, bring it right to the butcher shop. The crew over there, Miles, I mean, he's amazing. Been doing this for a long time. They do such a good job, and they take all the work out of it for us when it comes down to that. We can get right back out there and
Uh-huh.
and help the team out and get it done. So just keeping that in mind and doing that. Now, when it comes, if DIY, we can talk about that. If you're going to do a DIY hunt, first of all, number one, knowing where your hunt is taking place, what zone it is, what the boundaries are of that zone, making sure that you line up a place to stay right away. You can't hesitate. You can't wait. You got to do this right away. Same with the
Yeah, they
processor.
fill up fast. Yep.
They fill up fast. Yes, sir. So making sure, you have a place to stay. There's some zones that just don't have a lot of lodging. You're going to have to, maybe you're doing a tent hunt. And if you're doing a tent hunt, these campsites, they fill up quick, and you got to make sure you're going to have that figured out. Make sure you have permits that you need from the landowners for setting up tents. If they're, make sure you have your, if it's guided, insurances and licenses and everything that it takes to legally operate. um and then, put the time in, go back to the scouting that we talked about, get some boots on the ground. There's some folks that will, uh, you can pay to do a semi-guided hunt. I mean, we've done that for people in the past. We try to help everybody. I mean, that's just our goal. We want everyone to be successful. So you could call us up, and we have worked things out in the past where we've done that. I think we did that last year. We had a crew stay with us and do a semi-guided,
Mhm.
and they were successful.
Yeah, they
And
killed an awesome bull. I help pack it out and drive it back to the butcher shop. Yeah, they did
yeah,
great.
yeah. So there's always instances like that. For the DIY. Outfitted hunts, kind of follow the same thing, except there's some nuances that you want to consider. Outdoor life. I was trying to dig back through some articles, but there's been some great articles. Billy Moles has talked about choosing the right outfitter. Look, AI has really advanced the look, the perception,
Uh-huh.
uh, websites, marketing, everything just looks so nice. You got to really just cut through the noise, get to the bottom of the things. Some of the questions that I'd ask to go on a hunt, and these are actually questions. Some guys that we deal with, a lot of people that have hunted all over the world. We're blessed to have great clientele that understands it, and I love the questions that they ask me. And to find the right outfitter, make sure we're the right outfitter. And some of those, that you want to consider, are references, number one, and not the successful ones, great. They're always going to sing praise. The unsuccessful ones are the ones you want. And any outfitter that's been in business long enough is going to have unsuccessful hunts. I mean, we have guys that hunt with us every year, and they pass bulls up that most people wouldn't pass up, and they say, "See you next year." And those are great references. And so successful, but most importantly, unsuccessful references. How long has the outfitter been in business for? Where are they located in proximity to where they're doing these hunts? How much time do they have to spend to put into this thing? This is your once in a lifetime hunt. How hard are they going to work? How much money are they going to spend scouting and on trail cameras and whatever else it's going to take to put you in the driver's seat to make your hunt everything you dreamed it could be? So
Uh-huh.
you want to be considering that. And then, you want to ask them, how does the hunt go? What happens when I arrive? What's that look like? What happens after I book? Make sure that, you're getting an invoice, you're getting, your waivers. We have all our clients sign waivers. We have, make sure that, everything from the time you book is, to industry standards, I should say. And I'll tell you, the booking agents have a good handle on who's what and in this industry, and who's known and who's not. And even their guidelines for how they book their hunts should be a industry standard when you look at some of these professional booking agents like Hunt and Fool and Worldwide Trophy Adventures. Just, the professionalism from the start of the conversation to when you decide to book the hunt, understanding the work that's going to be put in prior to your hunt, how much time and effort, not just the company that you're booking with is going to put into this thing, but the team that they have working for them, mixed in with the references that they've had, how many years they've been in business, and is this really something that they're going to be doing for the long term, or is this just something that is a hobby to them, and
Uh-huh.
they're in it to win it. We're not going anywhere, and we make sure that anybody that hunts with us has the best time possible, and we spare no expense to do that because this is our life, and that's really what you're looking for. And then you want to get into the other details that you might not if you're not doing a DIY, which is, how far are we traveling to the hunting spot? Who's picking me up from the airport? How far from the airport to the hunting area? When I put my moose down, what do you have for refrigeration? Are you going to get the hide off right away? Is it going to sit on a truck and trailer for 4 or 5 hours? All the things that we talked about with what we've seen in the butcher shop. So you want to ask your outfit, how he plans to handle that. Obviously we take, the Cape and Quarter, um, that is number one for us. It's a policy, so hopefully, they will understand to, get the hide off it right away. And then, do they have, if you're taxidermy, make sure you have a taxidermist lined up. Some of these outfitters, we have a personal friend of ours, team member, Pelletier Taxidermy, Troy Pelletier. His attention to detail is bar none, uh, the best. He takes everything he does and looks at it like a piece of art,
Uh-huh.
and his reputation precedes himself. And again, his references are amazing, and our clients love them. They use them time and time again. We even had a client that sent him his Yukon moose from Alaska this past year, and we actually did the processing of the moose, which was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
That was kind of weird seeing that in there. So, not to ramble on, I guess it's just super important that, once you draw that tag, you really put the time and effort. I mean, think about it this way. It costs you however much it does to apply every year. You're already in it for a substantial investment. Your time is money. Don't spare any expense on the hunt. If you're going to do an outfitted hunt, you will get what you pay for. And
Uh-huh.
even with the cost and amount, still do your research, talk to references, figure out what their plan is every step of the way. Make sure those outfitters are, have just as good of a plan in their head as you would. And you'll have a great hunt, whoever you hunt with. And we're super pumped to see the success, and we hope that everyone can share in the results, and just everybody can have a great experience with the Maine moose hunt, and what an opportunity and what a great resource we have here in the state of Maine.
Absolutely, man. You think you nailed it out of the park on that one. Touched on everything. I think, I don't know if you mentioned it up, but I know you just talked about taxidermy. Another thing to mention is make sure you do a lot of taxidermists do require a reservation for moose as well. I know you touched on it for processing and stuff like that, but if you get drawn and you plan on getting it mounted, reach out to taxidermists to make sure you get on their list.
Yeah, 10-4. Yep, 100%. Everything is, all hands on deck. Once you get that tag, make sure you line it all out, get everybody on board. And another thing I want to bring up, so Maine is a very interesting state because we have what's called a subcommittee, and you know, a lot of people when they draw, they just come by themselves, and that is from an outfitter standpoint, um, it 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 eases in um, the I'm not sure how to say this. It makes it a little easier on the guides when you
I
have
I
a
can I
big.
can caveat. I agree. It's I mean, you got to think it's. I mean, no offense to people that bring sub permittees, which is awesome. I think it's great because it's a second gun. But sometimes it's easier to bring one person through the woods than two people.
100%. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we when we had the TV show, The Guide's Life as an Outfitter, I mean, we had, multiple camera crews. I mean, the 5, 6 people going through the woods and, we still get it done. It's you gotta manage it.
Mhm.
That's the trick. When you have a lot of people out in the woods, you gotta manage it. I think one of the most important things about this for anybody that is considering bringing a subcommittee or just somebody that they intend to have on the hunt with them at all times. Okay, we've had people that come bring them up and they hang out with the spotters or the packers or they hang out at camp and enjoy camp life, and that's all good too. When you choose that person, whether you're doing an outfitted hunt or you're just coming up, make sure there's cohesion there. Make sure that the people that you bring on this hunt, are in it for the good time. I can't stress this enough. If it's all about the kill, then the fun of the pursuit and the adventure, you miss the little things and the time spent with the people that you love, with the people that you care about. The success is gonna happen when everybody is on the same page. And just make sure that whoever you bring on this hunt with you, this is a once in a lifetime hunt, make sure that the people you bring are the ones that are gonna work to achieve the same goal that you have and are gonna have fun doing it.
Mhm. Absolutely, absolutely, and, you as the permit holder should have be okay with the expectations of the sub-permittee. Say you're in great physical shape, but your sub-permittee isn't like, say you pick your grandfather as your sub-permittee, he's a little bit less physically able than you. You need to be okay with that, you know, because that could also, I mean, not to make it bad saying bring your grandfather, but your success could be different versus if you are more physical able and can get further in and do stuff like that. So you just need to be on, like you said, on the same page, your cohesion. You need to be okay with, maybe driving a little bit more versus hiking more, stuff like that.
Yeah, and super good point, and I think that is all about the goals that you set and the priorities that you have. And if your goal is to hunt with your dad, that's what you're looking to do. That is awesome. I mean, that is what it's all about, and you just have to set your goals into perspective,
Mhm.
and it can't be you really it's almost a selfishness a little bit, and you gotta really look at yourself in the mirror and ask, is are you being fair to yourself and fair to the other people that are coming with you, and what your goals are for this. Because and you know what, God is big, and if your goal is a giant moose, but you have your sights set on having that family experience and having your dad along for the hunt, and you're just trusting that God's going to take care of it, put you in front of that slammer that you've always dreamed of, He'll do it. And as long as you're believing and you're keeping that that believing up and just keeping a positive attitude, and I'll say it again, positive attitude, positive attitude.
Yep.
Just
Every
keep
day's
that.
every day's Monday.
Every day is Monday, baby.
Yeah.
And look, this hunt, you're gonna have your ups and downs, you'll have your lulls, and you just got to make the best of it, and you just got to embrace every moment. And when it's slow, enjoy looking at the trees and the leaves and everything else around you.
Yeah.
And
Because
when things
anything it can change in the snap of a finger. Yeah.
it's in 5 seconds, it's over. And always be ready, boy. I'll tell you, because we've been surprised, taken by surprise before.
Yeah,
So yeah.
absolutely. Awesome, man. Well, good stuff. You have anything else you wanna to add to anything, or we're
No,
just
not
about approaching on an hour here, about 50
yeah,
minutes,
not
so
not really. Just awesome being on here with you, Rob. Can't thank you enough for all you do and for what you've done for this country. I want to wish everyone out there the best success that they can have. The people that are drawn, the guides, the outfitters, walk with God. Just stay positive. Put a really good hunt together. This is a once in a lifetime experience. Everything you do, just do it for a positive outcome, and don't make it about the kill. Make it about the experience, and get out there, be safe, have fun, have a great time. And I can't wait to get on another podcast with you. I'm excited for this year. Just
Man,
being on here
100%.
talking gets me jacked up. I appreciate it, buddy. Good to be here with you.
Heck yeah, man. Awesome. Well, I'll let you all get back to it. Good luck this Saturday, and hopefully your name gets drawn. Take care, and God bless.